resources available to you, and again, if you're in your organization, I mean, I learned about all kinds of new equipment that we need to go out and buy from Tom. We have a few GoPros and we have a few of these other things, but I'm like, wow, and they're not expensive. I can probably sell that. I can probably get that. And understand the history of the organization and those you work with. And I say that because sometimes, especially if you come from outside government and you come into government, you have a different ideology about how things work, because it is very different. You don't realize that there's a food policy, that you can't pay more than $5 per person for a meal for breakfast or whatever. So you buy breakfast for everybody thinking it's going to be covered. I mean, these are simple things, but you've got to know the history of your organization and some of the people that you want to become friends with. Okay, so you have homework. That's why I hand out a piece of paper, and I apologize, there's some of you that didn't get it, but you can just use a piece of paper. So more than likely you're prepared, you're trained and educated, you were hired for this role. If you have been in the field for 3 to 5 years, hopefully you're discovering your strengths and weaknesses. But I'd like you to write those down. I'd like you to write down a couple of strengths, write down a couple of weaknesses. This is for your own benefit. What am I really good at? Okay, I'm really good at smiling. That's what I'm really good at. What are my weaknesses? I'm not really good at swimming, and I'm doing the personal things, but think professionally. What are you really good at? I'm really good at collaborating. I'm really good at bringing people together. That's one of my strengths. One of my weaknesses is I sometimes get very frustrated that I'm not communicating well with technical people. Okay, so I need to figure out how can I work on that weakness. So write down a few of your strengths and weaknesses. So next to that is that the Wile E. Coyote guy? Dabney says help. So jot down some potential mentors and resources. And I would suggest to you to not limit your mentors to within your own organization. That's not a bad thing to have them within your organization, but sometimes you need somebody in a different perspective, not as close to what's going on, whatever it might be that you need to ask them for help for. All right, so write down your mentors and what are your resources? I have access to realistically I have access to about 20 communications people, okay? Now, others have to, only 4 directly report to me. So they have to prioritize and all that. But we work very closely as a team. But I know those are my resources. But I also know that we have one on-staff professional photographer. So I have to know who the photographers are in my area that I can contract with when we get ready to open this brand new $65 million bridge. Okay? So just know your resources.
And this is